Hi, what's up, Strongman fans, and Happy New Year to all of you. Obviously, going into the COVID part 3 in the UK here, so just thought I'd make a video as I've got some extra time. And if you didn't know, obviously last November and streamed, well not streamed, but broadcasted in December in the UK and America, we had the World's Strongest Man finals finally shown on TV because there wasn't a live stream online at the time. And as you know, some of my subscribers, I did make a video with what I had. So I'm just going to talk about Group 3 here quickly. Obviously, Oleksi Novikov from Ukraine and Tomstaltman were in that group. And as we know, Novikov, for the first time, it's his first qualification for the World's Strongest Man. He went on to win it, being the second youngest person of all time, the second Ukrainian of all time, and also he was, I think he was the lightest of all the athletes there at 135 kilos and only 6'1". So one thing he always goes on about is about, that small guys can be strong as well, if not stronger. In static events, obviously more athletic events like the running events, whereas cardio required, not just stand and press, stand and squat, stand and deadlift, etc. He proved himself to be the greatest across the entire event, really. The qualifiers and also the finals, he absolutely smashed it. And Novikov's only been on the scene since 2016, and the guy is 24, so he rattled a lot of cages and definitely scared a lot of people, because granted there weren't many other athletes there that have competed in the past who've won or been on that podium. But as we know, it doesn't matter, he still beat every person who competed. Many people who competed years and years and years got far more experience, far more muscle maturity, and generally know what to expect, whereas he didn't know. It was his first time, he's fresh, he's a newcomer. So he did incredible to do so well, let alone just to get to the finals in his first attendance. And about Novikov, up until last year, the best he'd done at Giants Live in 2019, he came third in the finals. He lost to Kirisovsky, who I'm going to speak about briefly at the end of this video. He's obviously been Ukraine's strongest man since 2016 to now. He recently came third in the Shore Classic. So in terms of his career, even though it's only been for a few years, he's absolutely destroyed every event he's been at. He really has shown that he's someone not to be taken lightly and to be ignored, because he's amazing. In my opinion, I can't believe the guy's ability for such a young age and for such a short period of time. He's got no background in other sports, like he says. This is all he's ever done. He started doing it when he was 18, 19. Only been a few years. He's obviously got great genetics, separate to his training, his understanding of his body, the drugs he may use and whatnot. He's done great things in a short period of time to make his body be peaking, because at 25 almost, well at 25 this year in April, he is in his prime.
No recorded injuries to date in any competition or training. The longevity is there for him, so he was obviously on my radar for a bit, but I'll be honest, he wasn't someone who I predicted as winning or doing so well in his first World's Strongest Man appearance, and I knew he'd get to the finals, but I didn't think he'd actually win it. So I imagine his training is going to go even up a notch even further now, because he naturally wants to defend it later on this year if it does go ahead due to COVID. That should be in the summertime. So I'm really excited to see if he does become the new future champion and perhaps changes things up in the scene in terms of who's got the potential to win. It's not just the big guys anymore, it's the smaller guys as well. So it will be interesting to see what happens for Novikov this year in any comps he does, and obviously when he returns as the current champion. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about Novikov. Was he on your radar? Did you think he had what it takes to win this year? Do you think he's a deserving champ? But with all the fact that Martin Lissis wasn't there, Matthias Kirisovsky wasn't there, obviously Eddie Hall and Thor have retired, so it's four huge strongmen in the scene that weren't there, and some people are still saying that he didn't deserve. So let me know in the comment section below. So on to Tomstaltman. So obviously we've got the Albatross here, and as we know about Tom, this is Tom's second appearance in World's Strongest Man. It was actually his first time placing so high because when he competed last year, he actually, 2019, he actually came fifth, tying with Brian Shaw. So I'm saying last year, forgetting already that the years we're on 2021, and obviously, so it was 2020, obviously, in November, he came second in World's Strongest Man. So Tom actually won 3 of the 6 events in the final, which is absolutely incredible. As you can see here, he absolutely smashed the stone event, as to be expected. He won actually every stone event he did, and we all know Tom's the king of the stones. So fair play to Jav Caron. If he hadn't gone against someone so formidable, he would have won that any day. But Tom, as we know, is the best of the best, and in history in general, he is the best at stones. So that was not a surprise that he'd take that one. It'd be very unlikely that he'd have a slip or stumble there. So he didn't let us down there. So in terms of Tom's performance, now Tom is 26, he'll be 27 this year, so he's a bit older than Novikov. He's actually the same age pretty much as Kirisovsky, so the two of them are in their later 20s now. But I've covered all 3 of them today because these 3 are my top guys for World's Strongest Man 2021, and also in terms of any other events such as Europe's Strongest Man, obviously the Giants Live Tour for the finals to get to the next World's Strongest Man, obviously the World's Ultimate Strongman events, and to be honest with you, anything else that comes about in the strongman scene. These 3 are my top. I had Tom on the podium anyway this year. I knew he'd be on the podium, and I think a lot of people would agree with that. Tom's come a very long way in a very short period of time. Obviously he's currently Britain's strongest man. He's done really well in other strongman competitions such as the World's Ultimate Strongman, where he came 3rd in 2019 in Dubai, obviously losing to Kirisovsky first and obviously his brother Luke. In terms of other events he's done, he has done very well. 3rd, 4th. He was 4th in 2019's Europe's Strongest Man. He didn't obviously compete last year because he wanted to focus on World's Strongest Man, and I think that's a good idea. He did also injure himself attempting a world record with the Atlas stones for World's Ultimate Strongman, so that was another reason why he skipped Europe's and just focused on World's Strongest Man. And like I said, it was the right thing to do. Because he finished 2nd. And I think, we haven't seen the best of Tom yet. He's still peaking, I'd say, at 6'8", 174 kilos, and it's pretty lean 174 kilos, to be honest. He's not like a fat piece of shit. It's covered across his frame pretty well, that muscle to fat ratio, because he is so big. And I think, if Tom doesn't get injured again, if he focuses on just actually training for competitions rather than doing these odd little feats of strength in between, he might still do World's Ultimate Strongman stuff, but I think realistically he should focus on actual competitions so he doesn't hurt himself and potentially stumble along the way, because it's now clear to see that his 2 rivals in terms of like his age group are Kirisovsky and obviously Novikov now. So he's definitely got 2 people nipping him at the heels, and that's great because obviously that's going to push him much harder to do better and be the best version of himself, separate to all the other athletes that are in the sport, including his own brother, who, let's not face it, Luke's amazing and a great support for him and a great mentor, obviously being older than him. So amazing what Tom did, and I was really proud to see just how humble he still was, and he's really going places. I just need to add, he didn't win Britain's Strongest Man. He was actually Scotland's Strongest Man in 2019. Obviously, he does represent the United Kingdom, but he is Scottish, born and bred, and a proud Scotsman at that. So well done, Tom. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about Tom. Is he your favourite for a future World's Strongest Man? Do you think he's going to get it this year, or is he going to take a bit more time for him? But, looking at the numbers, how quickly he went from qualifying in 2017, reaching the final in 19 and coming 5th, and then the year after, last year, obviously being 2nd. That's pretty good, to be fair. So, I reckon he's gonna win at some point. It may not be this year, because Kirisovsky, if he doesn't get injured, will come back, and Martin Lissis as well is coming back. So there's 2 people there to obviously go against, and of course he's got to take on Novikov, the current champion. So let me know what you guys think. I do think he's going to be top 3 podium finisher again, and I would love to see him win it, and I've got a feeling it is going to happen at some point. You know, he's not even 30 yet, so he's still got a good few years in the tank, and it will be exciting to see what he does this year in terms of competitions. So lastly, Matthias Kirisovsky, as we all know, the Polish powerhouse, aka the Polish Titan. Now, he's obviously also quite small in comparison really to Tomstaltman. He's 6'5", but he's actually only 150 kilos, so he's not much heavier than Novikov, about 15 kilos or so heavier. But that doesn't mean by any long shot that he is not a capable athlete. And as we've seen, you know, in terms of personal records, he holds a lot. Circus dumbbell press, 150 kilos, the CYR dumbbell press, 145, frame carry, 400 kilos, you know, in less than 10 seconds. The same with the car walk. I mean, I can just list endless world records from this man. And, you know, he has absolutely dominated so many strongman events across the world. You know, you've got Arnold's, you've got World's Strongest Man, World's Ultimate Strongman, you know, Poland's Strongest Man. He's been first since 2015. You know, he's gone to pretty much every sporting event around the world since he started competing, you know, and he's been competing for a few years now. I think 2015 is when he first kind of hit the scene, and then since then he's just steadily been smashing it, event after event. He's the current champion for Giants Live, obviously all the 2019 events and also 2018, and as we know, in terms of World's Strongest Man appearances, so his first one was in 2016, and he came second in 18 and 19. So, I mean, to come second last year, the year before, 2019, against Martin Lissis and Hathor, I mean, that was damn impressive. These guys are far more older and experienced than him, but he showed the world that he means business and he deserves to be on that podium. And, you know, it's a real shame that he's been injured, and obviously he's had issues with his bicep and a few other problems here and there, and that's why he had to pull out kind of last minute, really. We did see some training montage of him on his Instagram, and he's looking really strong, but he had to pull out just because he just kept having those issues. Tricep, sorry, that's my bad. He hurt his biceps in the World's Ultimate Strongman in 2019, but it was actually his tricep. He's had some issues with some operations and stuff like that, so he had to withdraw last minute, which is a real shame because I had him, you know, in my prediction videos as a number one spot. You know, he was my winner for World's Strongest Man, you know, based on the fact that he comes second 2 years in a row. So I am very hopeful, just like I'm sure many other Kieliszkowski fans out there, that he's going to make a great comeback this year. He's had a good like two or so months off now. I don't know what he's been doing in terms of training. Obviously, he's not been posting much, but I imagine he has been trying to rehab as best he can. So hope you're doing well, champ, and recovering well, and getting yourself psyched up for what's to come, because as we know, there are some competitions coming up in February and April. Obviously, I'm going to mention briefly at the end of this video what they are, but really hopeful that you can come back to competition this year and not be written off permanently, because, you know, sometimes these injuries can become quite a big deal and a long-term issue which can become your Achilles heel. And you are still young, you know, you're still you're only in your late to mid-20s, so you've got youth on your side, so hopefully his recovery will be good. I do think that youth has a massive advantage over athletes who are a bit older, like let's say in their mid-30s and 40s plus. It can be harder to bounce back because once those issues set in, they are hard to work around. But best of luck, Kieliszkowski. I'm still your top fan. I'm really hoping to see you perform and compete again in 2021, and fingers crossed you get that invite and you smash the next World's Strongest Man. So just quickly to wrap things up, in February there will be a World's Ultimate Strongman competition. Not too sure what's going on there. They've just posted this little teaser on their Instagram a few weeks ago about not Fight Island, but Strong Island. Kind of like the UFC, what they've been doing in Abu Dhabi with their competitions on the Fight Island. And again, also for Giants Live in April, you're going to have your Europe's Strongest Man and Log Lift World Record Challenge. And also, again in April, you will have Britain's Strongest Man. So they're the first 2 scheduled events from Giants, and obviously from World's Ultimate Strongman, but they are all COVID pending. As we know, they could be cancelled or they might be put onto COVID restricted circumstances as they did with the Europes this year, and also World's Strongest Man, and all events in general. But I'm really hoping that by the spring things will get better. Obviously for World's Strongman in Dubai, that shouldn't be a problem, because obviously they seem to be not free from COVID but doing okay generally, and sporting competitions seem to be going ahead still. So really looking forward to seeing those in the future. So let me know what you guys think of the video today, guys. These are my top 3, as I said, for going into Strongman this year in terms of all competitions. I think these 3 are going to be the ones to beat, and they're all contenders for first place spots on all sorts of podiums, particularly World's Strongest Man 2021. So if you agree with me, let me know. If you don't, also please comment. If you're new to the video, please do consider subscribing, and until next time, I'll see you soon, guys. And Big One Fitness, signing out.